So you have a desire, and it goes from a thought into a feeling. So you have the thought, oh, that would be kind of cool. And then you get that feeling of, yeah, that would really be cool. My old hashtag want to feel good. And then the work starts happening. And then the obstacles show up. And then all the reasons why you can't have it start to show up. So why the hell is that happening? And why did it not happen until you started to really feel what it could feel like to have the desire? That's the topic for this episode of Living Spiritually in a Practical World. Little side note, didn't you like the new intro? Okay, without further ado, let's go to Mr. Flipchart and let's dig into this. So this is you. And you have a thought. So the thought, so it enters your mind first. Oh, that would be cool. That would be nice. That would feel good. All that kind of stuff. And then what happens is you get the feeling. I have the thought pops into my head. And sometimes these happen like that fast. So the thought pops into your head. And then you get the feeling. Ooh, that would be kind of cool. So keeping it real. As you guys know, and you're experiencing it right now. Over the past few months, I've been reinventing the Healing Center and for delivery online and connection online and all that kind of stuff. And so I'll go, okay, everything's good. Yeah, we're good. Got it. And then I will be watching a video or researching something, and there's a new piece of software or a little tweak on a piece of equipment. And that thought enters into my head. Oh, that would be good for me. And then it converts into a feeling, which is, oh, yeah, that'd be really good for me. So that's this process. So there's the thought, then the feeling, and then it becomes what you want, or another word we could use is this one here. It becomes a desire. So if you want to put a little formula together, thought plus a feeling equates to a desire or a vibration. Right? So I don't know if we've talked about it in this series, but I'm sure you've heard me talk about it somewhere, that an emotion is two parts. There's the label, happy, sad, whatever. And then there's the physical sensations attached to that. And that's really the feeling, and that's what we care about. So there's the thought, and then it creates or initiates a feeling or an emotion, so a set of sensations that feel good. Now, when those two are connected, now you have a desire, and now the process starts. And this is often when there's another 4-letter word. I'm going to use a different color. We'll use that one for fun. Oh, we use it. There we go. That one. Whoops. Oh, what have I done? There. This is when the work starts. So from a vibrational mechanics perspective, this is what's happening. So again, this is, you've had the thought. And so when you think about it, and actually, you know what? I need to move this over to here. So I'm going to move this. I'll do it quick. We'll be good. So the thought. Okay. Sorry. This is better. Thank you, source. Thought plus the feeling equates to the desire. We're going to go with that. And I'm just going to erase this for now because that's a better representation of it. So then what we want to see is we want to see it. Whoops. Oh, goodness. There we go. Oh, fingers aren't working today. We want it there. We want to see it manifest in our physical world. So now from a vibrational mechanics perspective, there we go. What is happening is this, and this isn't, from a vibrational perspective. So this is a vibration. And now this is a vibration. There we go. And so this and this are coming together, or they're harmonizing, or they're synchronizing with each other. So, well, maybe some of you, well, standard vehicles now are so intelligent, they just shift almost effortlessly. But in the old days where you didn't have the electronics and the controls and anything like that, when you were shifting from second to third, you had to get certain revs right. You had to get speed right. Then you push the clutch in, and now you've got gears that are meshed together. So now you're going to basically, this isn't mechanically accurate, but go with it. So you've got these gears that mesh together. So now they're disconnected. So you got the clutch in, because this gear now wants to hook into a different one. So it's actually resonating or synchronized with this one, but now you want to synchronize it with a different one. So you could look at it that way too. And if you didn't do it right, it would, because you're trying to get it into gear. So that's what's happening. Is right now this synchronizing is working its way out. And what happens is, as this is happening, this process right here, it really is like a pushing or a squeezing together. So think of it as like a squeezing together, and everything that's in the middle is getting sort of expelled or pushed out. So then everything in between the feeling you have in your body and the manifesting of it in the physical world, whatever the obstructions are to that process happening, this, if you will, pressure, which isn't an inaccurate word, this pressure is actually pushing them out. So what it's doing is it's taking whatever is obstructing that process from happening, and in a very real way, it's expelling it. So what is being expelled? So I'll just cherry pick some here. So belief systems. Oh, I think this is right. So whatever the belief system may be that you may currently have, that says, I can't just very naturally, effortlessly manifest this, right? I'm not. So it's old and it's cliche, but it's true. I don't deserve it. I have to earn it. My family has never experienced it. People like me don't experience it. I've screwed up so much I can never have it. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. So that's an example of a belief system. So what's happening is then that's being actually expelled. And these are kind of intermeshed with each other. There we go. More coffee. So old traumas, whatever that may be. Often they are this. Right? So traumatic memories and things like that. So you see, this process as it's happening, this is the reason. And this was it doesn't, you don't have to like it. And I'm going to say it. It doesn't necessarily make it easier, but for me, when you understand what's happening, I'm just listening for source. When you understand what's happening, there are two powerful byproducts of that. I'm actually going to add these just because. So here's that whole understanding, right? Information, understanding, application. So the understanding of this process is, it helps us to manage it more effectively or efficiently. We could do that as well. Oh boy, I'm going to go effectively because I don't even want to try and spell efficiently. So it helps us to manage that. And probably the bigger one, and this is kind of the understanding, and then your homework assignment will become of this. I'll explain this. Is that any disturbance I'll explain what I mean by that. That we see in our external or physical. Oh, that's bad, but we're going to go with it. Physical world is simply a byproduct or this. We're just observing this process, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Check this. I'm sure it's nothing here. So here's what happens. You have the thought and you get the feeling. Ooh, this is really cool. Now it equates to a desire. And so now what happens is the external expression of that and the internal vibration. Where's getting in frame here? There we go. They're starting to move together. And as they move together, they're expelling whatever the obstacles, the obstructions, the resistances to those two coming together. So then you see it manifest in your physical world. So they're pushing that out, squeezing that out. And it really does feel that way. It can feel like you're just being wrung out like a sponge. And that's kind of an appropriate word, because what's happening is those are being expelled. So here's a really spiritual imagery. It's like popping a zit. Right? So it's actually pushing and expelling that. It's like our body, if it has a sliver. So if you have a sliver, your body's naturally going to want to express that. Right? If you have an infection or something, your body wants to express that or expel that. Right? So this is the same thing. It's just happening a little bit more at a physical level. So one of the reasons why you have the desire, you start to feel it, maybe start to move towards it and do some steps. And now here comes these obstacles. And it's really easy. Again, you don't have to like them, to look at these obstacles and go, why is this against me? And I think this is where the power is, and this is where we can manage it more effectively, is understanding that there's really nothing or no one against you, although it can look that way, because often the expelling of these is going to show up in two primary ways. And I'll, just so I don't take this video too long, I won't bother writing these down. They're going to show up as external experiences, or, and more commonly, they're going to show up as thoughts in your mind, often memories and things like this. And it can just, if you will, pop out of the blue. It's like this shows up in my, why am I thinking about this, right? This happened, whatever, 20 years ago or whatever. Why am I thinking about this? Or why are these events happening that appear to be almost in direct contradiction to the right way I want to go? Well, in a way they are, but what's simply happening is those obstructions are being expelled, and we're just noticing them as they are. I wrote an ebook quite a while ago, and I've taught on it. It was called The Ashes of the Dead. And so what I mean by that is, if you have a campfire and it's essentially burnt out, and you go and you sort of stamp your foot in the ashes, got to go poof, the ashes, fluff, 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 right? So in a way, that's what it is. Because these, and this is probably the primary way, these thoughts, these memories, all this stuff that pops into your mind, again, something that you usually never think about, a memory that you've never thought about for forever, all that kind of stuff. Often what's happening is you're simply noticing these ashes as whatever these obstacles are, they're being expelled, and you're simply noticing it as it goes. So what do? Nothing. But that's the thing. Don't try and figure it out. Don't try to exorcise the demon. Just allow them to go. Allow your being to do what it knows how to do. And the other thing that we'll often do is you take that and then you start to overlay it on people, places, things, and events out here. It's like, oh, you're the one that's causing it. This is what's causing it. This is what's causing it. And again, what's your homework assignment? So here's your homework assignment, right? So what's your homework assignment? Your homework assignment is, when you notice these, especially if they pop out of the blue, when you notice them, understand, I'm not saying in every respect, but probably in many respects, all that's happening, your being is expelling whatever those obstacles are between what your desire feels like here and the manifestation of it out here. And your job is just to let it go. Don't try and figure out. Don't try and, as I said, sort of get rid of it. Don't try with it. Just let that stuff happen as best you can, right? And I realize that you've heard me say this before too. We don't master life. We master managing life. But understand, I'll just flip back to this to conclude. Understand that once this has happened, and especially if you start walking towards it yourself, then there's this natural process of expelling all those obstacles, all those things that are preventing that from manifesting in your physical world. What's your job? Keep your eye on the prize. Hashtag I want to feel good. That's I can say always. I think I can say always. Part of your strategy is refocus. Refocus on what you desire. Refocus on what feels good, because that's the fuel. That's how you fuel this journey. Will there be some uncomfortableness? You can bet your life there will be. Will there be some of these things that are being expelled where you're going like, no, you can get out, like, right? Could be. I'm not saying you're looking for them. It could be. This is where your greatest tool is to hold your focus. And when you lose it, come back to it. And you lose it, come back to it. You lose it, come back to it. Resilience is your greatest friend in this. Consistency, not constancy. Don't beat yourself up if you have a day where this sucks. It's never going to work. I'm going to watch TV. Okay. Then just go through that and then away you go again. All things are possible. Doesn't mean all things are easy. Theoretically, they could be, but I found living spiritually in a practical world, yeah, often they're not. So let's figure out how to manage our experience and make things work. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. See you on the web.